What's good, everybody? Brent here, back with another stream. Hope you're having an amazing fucking Tuesday. Pretty nutty last few days. So many ups and downs. One stream, prices would be up, everybody's on fire, and then the next one, we're down. But we're fucking here. Feeling a little bit under the weather today, but going to stay consistent with these streams every Tuesdays and Fridays. If this is your first time hopping on, what's up? Usually got my buddy for Loco or a few other buddies on, but today it's just me, solo stream. Want to talk Bitcoin, want to talk ETH, Sol, want to talk about where I think everything's headed, why you should not be panicking, and why this is the setup for probably the most obvious bullish period crypto's ever going to see. Not only just like the most obvious risk to reward, but something that I think is really going to turn into, might be the most euphoric, period we've ever seen, or at least the most sustainable, like kind of biggest kind of bullish periods we've ever seen, kind of stuff that rivals 2017, 2021. I think a lot of people are expecting that normies and these kind of retail types are never going to come, but I think more likely than ever with this regulatory clarity and all this stuff that it is going to happen. But before we get into that, hope everybody's having an amazing day. Let me know where you're at in the chat, where you're at in the world, what country, and then let me know what you guys have been up to. You've been trading. You've been trading low cap stuff. You've been accumulating like myself. Yeah, want to see what you guys are up to. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, the vision for why I think ETH may potentially flip Bitcoin in the next few years. I know that's still blasphemous. Not so much as much as a couple months ago. If you would have said that to somebody a couple months ago, they would have fucking laughed in your face. Still kind of like that, but I'll break down why I believe that over the next few years, with everything going on chain, in the financial world, collectibles, the entire world going on chain, that why Ethereum, ETH the token may flip Bitcoin. We're going to talk about NFTs, and then I'm going to talk about my personal portfolio configuration kind of strategy for success in 2026, kind of the stuff that's worked for me over the last few years. And then, of course, going to take questions, comments, all that good stuff in the chat. Love to make these streams super interactive, especially when there's not much going on. Love to take questions, comments. So anything you guys want to say or want me to answer, chart requests, all that good stuff, leave it in the chat. Let's go ahead and see what's up. I got all my homies from the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel. See you guys. What's good? Tapped in, Bren. What's up, Andre? How you doing? Embermain, what's good, brother? I love the new fucking PFP. Wonka, what's good? Isaiah, what's good, brother? Mita, what's up? Wonka, what is up? EMP, what's up? Shiny, what's good? Mr. Empathetic, Mr. Mr. Empathic, excuse me. Okoroji, what's good? You're in Antarctica. Wow. Is it cold this time of year there? Or? Soul, what's good? Wonka, Omega, let's see. Mr. Bullish, Muhammad. Everybody's still here. Nigeria, okay. Shout out to you guys. Andre, how to Mr. Empathic says how to know when to take a long and the leverage on it. We'll talk a little bit about that. Rojam, always nice to see you, brother. Moonbird for the win, picked up a few weeks ago. That's what's up, man. Yeah, Moonbirds are on a fucking tear. I want to talk a little bit about that and why I think Moonbirds have been really successful as of recent. And I think how really set an example of how um, providing not even like crazy life-changing gains, but just continuous on-chain value to their holders, and how it's really sparking attention around the project. Just yesterday, I don't know if you saw, I'm sure you saw Emberman. Football.fun has kind of been on the downturn the last few days, but all Moonbirds holders, I believe, got a pack of those cards or whatever. So cool to see stuff like that. We'll talk a little bit about Moonbirds. Very warm here. Yeah, I'm sure. What's up, Brent? How's your good? How's your health? I'm doing well, man. Alpha Wolf, what's up? What's up, Darlo? What's up, Flo? Hi, Bren. Great calls so far, Bren. We will see put a push to 150 to 120K now or down to 108. Great. I'm glad you asked that. I'm going to transition straight into Bitcoin right after this. So just hold on just a second. Hi, Bren. Can you look at ApeXAI? It saves lives with 95% cancer accuracy rate. Interesting. Yeah, we'll go ahead and look at that. I'd assume is that what is that? There was like, I remember there was like a little bit of a wave going with like when the AI stuff was going on last year with like bio coins or whatever. Is that kind of in that category? Omega says, loved your Pengu call, fam. Yes, sir. I think Pengu is also setting up for a nice coil up, which we'll talk about. But let's go ahead and get to what's on everybody's mind. What's having everybody fucking freaking out the past 2 days is Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol moving down. It's pretty amazing. Like we talk about this so much on stream, and anybody who's been around like knows this, but it's just crazy to see every time. Oh, not that one. Sorry. Every single time that Bitcoin dips, even the slightest 5 to 10%, everybody's just so quick to call the top. I think what that is, a lot of it is a lot of people want it to be the top very badly, whether they want to admit it or not, whether they made poor decisions in the coins that they bought last year, or they sold everything, panic sold. They fed into the tariff war drama and panic sold at the bottom. I think we're seeing a lot of that, unfortunately, and I've been there. Trust me, like I've been in a position where my bias and what I believe was my bias was based on how I was positioned. A lot of people have bag bias, whether they want to admit it or not. So that's why you're seeing, I think, why we're seeing every time we dip down so much, or even the slightest, is we see people just calling for the top so quickly to call at the end, as well as the 4-year cycle, right? We talked about this a lot too, but I believe that who knows what happens. I like to talk in probabilities or think in probabilities, right? But I think there's a good shot that the 4-year cycle, as far as us topping in 2025 and going into like a long bear market, is likely to happen. So I think there's just a combination of people being sidelined, people expecting this 4-year cycle thing to play out, and all that. But for anybody who's been around too, this is not how behavior is at a euphoric top. It's quite the opposite. In fact, when I believe we are at a euphoric top, when we do have to worry about the market topping out, it's going to be the opposite of this. Is people aren't going to be panicking on every dip. They're going to think that every dip, they're just going to be buying every dip, right? They're going to be, right now, everybody's so quick to call the top. When it is actually the top, people are just, if you try to tell them it's the top, they're going to be in disbelief. They're going to say, oh, there's no way it's the top. We're going to keep going up forever. So what I'm trying to say here is that pretty much every sign other than the chart, or apart from the chart as well, is pointing to crypto being nowhere near as euphoric or oversold or overbought, or any of those metrics that we've seen in prior market tops. So short term though, put out this tweet the other day or yesterday that I do believe that in hindsight, looking back in a few weeks or a few months from now, that this Bitcoin correction we're looking at right now will look very similar to the June correction, right? And what I mean by that is in June, Bitcoin came down in this correction, it retested the all-time high, and then made one final low, just briefly under the last low before sending to all-time highs. I think this is just the variation on the theme, same kind of thing playing out here, right? We came down, the first bounce retested the all-time high and is making a final low here. I believe that looking back a month from now, that very oh shit. Looking back, I believe looking back a month from now, that Bitcoin will have looked very similar to the June correction. Like I think we don't need to overcomplicate it here. Of course, it could come lower than this last low in June, but I'm thinking likely between here and 100K. I know that's a wide range, but between here and 100K, I think we'll see that bottom corrective low and then send higher. Of course, we could always see multiple lows, like a 2 or 3 more lows in this corrective channel. But generally, I think there's a good chance based on where we're at seasonality wise, and how we're starting to see people capitulate to calling it a top again. I think we're very close or closer to the bottom than we are the top, right? So yeah, I'm looking at about 105, 110K, very likely to create that final corrective channel low. And I see this just as just another corrective coil up along the journey of Bitcoin's bigger bull market since 2022. And though these times are annoying as hell, like, trust me, I don't enjoy, you know, our coins only running up for a week and then coming back down. It would be great to have a more sustainable bull run. And I think we will. But with that being said, I think these corrections, again, even though they're annoying as fuck, they're very healthy. They allow for price to cool off and not get euphoric, versus other bull markets where we're just up only and then saw an 80% crash. So I think, along with the whole institutional thing, this kind of more stable price action of big moves up and then pullbacks, big moves up and then pullbacks, is actually very likely going to lead to a more stable bull run, possibly going into 2026, 2027. So, um, yeah. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I do think so. Yeah, same thing with ETH too. I think we're just finishing up these corrective coil ups, just like we saw in June. ETH's a little bit tighter, of course. So much buy pressure coming in from ETH, from all the institutional, treasury plays, so or treasury companies, and from a lot of other places, that this ETH correction was more corrective in nature and not as wide. I think ETH's only down 10-15%, versus I don't know what Bitcoin's at, but either way, I think ETH as well is coiling up, and either from here or could always put in another low, does move higher in the next few weeks as well. And my buy still stands. I think into Q4 into Q1 is going to be very strong for not just crypto but also NFTs as well. What is up, Ape Steve, Bren? What do you have to say about the massive liquidity we saw in the market yesterday? Liquidity in what sense? What are you measuring that from? The volume? Yeah, I don't know. I don't track liquidity or liquidity heat maps and stuff as much as other people. I do glance at it from time to time, and if there's like a liquidity like heat map like level or whatever, present, then that's great. It's always more confluence. But I think the downside, or the move down the other day, was propelled by, actually, I was under the impression it was a liquidation cascade, and it was in some sense. There was obviously some big liquidations, but a big reason why this initial move down happened the other day was actually it was spot driven. If you look at this bookmark here, it looks like a dormant whale woke up after 4 years and sold 24,000 Bitcoin and swapped it for ETH as well. So crazy to see that. Obviously this move down was pretty much spot driven. 100 and he sold 24,000 Bitcoin, and then I guess another entity connected to this wallet, or another wallet connected to this entity, bought, what's it called? I don't know how many ETH, but pretty crazy to see. I think it's crazy to see not only big sale, but that he's swapping it for ETH, and I think that's, again, a big sign to come that I think ETH Bitcoin is going to continue to dominate. And I'm going to make the case to why over the next 3 to 5 years, why ETH could potentially flip Bitcoin. But we'll get to that either way, ETH looks good here. Sol, um, while I'm pulling this up, if you guys, like I said, could please like, comment, retweet, bookmark the stream. Do these streams twice a week, Tuesdays, Fridays, 10:30 a.m. Had to start an hour earlier today. Had to deal with something, but 10:30 a.m. Tuesdays and Fridays. Shoot me a follow as well. That always helps, always appreciated. As far as Sol goes, already moving up pretty impulsively. Here. Um, yeah, again, they could go either way. We could be done mostly with these moves, or we could see another move down. Either way, next few weeks, this move very corrective, and I think we see Sol break to the upside just like we did the last 2 or 3 times as well. So XRP also looking pretty juicy as well. Sui, all of these coins looking really coiled up, and I see them way higher in the next few weeks. I think it's really simple. The great coins are going to move up, and we're going to start to see finally more of a move across the board from the strong coins in these certain niches, not just only memes. DXY, dollar index as well. For those of you guys don't know, this measures the dollar against all the other fiat currencies, the euro, obviously the Japanese yen, Swiss franc, all that stuff. To me, this looks like a consolidation that very likely the dollar does move back down into the low 90s in the coming months, which obviously for those of you who've been around for a few years know that when the dollar, at least on the higher time frames, is moving down, it usually coincides with risk assets, including crypto, moving up as well. Not always perfectly correlated, but I think what this is pointing to is just another sign pointing to a strong environment for risk assets going into 2026. So yeah, I expect the dollar to move down, which again will fuel or at least coincide, I think, with a really strong year for crypto in 2026. So before we move on to some other stuff, let me know if you guys have any. What do you guys think about Bitcoin ETH? So are you feeling it? How are you guys feeling? Are you freaking out? Are you guys in some longs that got rinsed? Are you shorting it? I want to see if you guys are making any moves in the majors, or you've been mostly just accumulating memes and stuff. I'm just holding nothing else. I'm 10% down in all my coins. Hope it recovers. Yeah, all things considered, 10% is pretty not too bad. Your dedication to uncovering insights in blockchain and crypto is truly inspiring. Thanks, Mr. Bullish. Block is moving in check EOAC. Many people are promoting it. It's on Binance. Yeah, I'll look at that in a second for sure. Yeah, I agree. When the top is in the timeline, will be full blown euphoria, and while we sell on their heads, yeah, for sure. What do you think about Fartcoin? I like Fartcoin here too. Right now, attention on Fartcoin is actually is really low, which is the best time you want to be buying. You want to be buying great coins while the attention's low, and usually attention low comes with price low. So I think if meme coins have another run, which they will, I think we're going to get a mania / kind of normie retail kind of thing going on like we saw in 2017 and 2021. In that world, meme coins are going to continue to dominate, and Fartcoin is a top meme coin. So I think Fartcoin probably comes down a bit more here, kind of in this lower bit of the channel, and probably again strong meme coin market. I think means a strong Fartcoin. That's just in simple first principles. I think that's how it plays out. How far does it go? I think it has a really high ceiling again for kind of how cult-like and universally cult-like the community is, as well as how universally kind of loved it is. I kind of put it up there with like the Mogs and stuff where it's kind of universally kind of understood and loved that Fartcoin Fartcoin's value proposition, or kind of the case for Fartcoin. Look at Sui chart; it looks super amazing. Yeah, I looked at it a second ago. The Sui chart does look pretty damn kind of coiled up, especially on the higher time frames. Bro, the correction is healthy and wealthy. Will we close CME gap at 98K? Yeah, I'm not huge on CME gaps. I just really just don't really look at them. I just don't really give me much signal, especially in the short term. I think they're really just going to fuck you up if you're just basing your trades based on them. With that being said, I guess most of them do get filled, but at the same time, there's plenty of Nvidia, for example. There's um, plenty of Nvidia gaps from like the 80s or I think it was the 90s. A few of them that haven't been filled yet, right? So gaps most of the time fill, but sometimes they don't. So I just really don't take them into account much. Really base any type of decision making off of them. With that being said, do we get down to 97K or whatever? Anything's possible. I think we probably bottom out before that. But if we were to move down to 97K with a quick wick down there or something, it wouldn't really change much for me. Uh, Again, I'm not short Bitcoin. I'm not really playing Bitcoin at all. I hold some Bitcoin, but as far as the long positions go, I'm long ETH from with an average of about 2350. Started accumulating a lot on the way down here, and then added heavily on this correction here in June. So my average entry is much lower. So I've just been adding slowly on this correction here. And kind of my how I play perps is I'm more of a swing trader. I don't really play the lower time frames or anything. I just the same way with coins. I'm really big on accumulating long positions safely on the way down in anticipation of the next impulse to the upside. So I didn't play it. I was like good with it. I didn't rush into a long position earlier this year. I started adding slowly down here when we got to around 2000, all the way back to where we were at 17. Really low leverage, really like 5x leverage. Started adding really slowly, and then we came up here and then pulled back here, I really and failed to break lower. I really went pretty heavily in there with both longs, uh, perp longs, and then as well as I bought a bunch of spot ETH here with probably most of my stables, like 60-75% of my stables. So yeah, that's my game plan for perps though. Like I was saying, what I usually my strategy is I'll accumulate on the way down and then take profits on the way up. Maybe take 20-30% of my position off when it gets, it really depends on the move, but I'll take 25-30% off. And then if the correction makes sense, I'll add on corrections, kind of always taking profits on the way up, kind of moving stops into break even, really securing gains, all that, because leverage, of course, as you can see here, if you're not really smart and really don't have your stops set in the right place, you can just get wiped out really easily. So yeah, I mean, that'd just be my suggestion. If you're really getting into perps, just no leverage is not necessary. But if you're really gung ho on it and you really, want to get experience with it, use very low leverage. That's would be my advice. And because even the small pullbacks can be 10, 15, 20% and really easy to get rinsed. So do we close the CME gap though? It's possible, but I would definitely not count on it. Which altcoin narratives could dominate the next bull run? Memes, AI, convergence of AI in crypto, and DeFi, anything that has like a TradFi narrative, as well as memes. Do you think Do you think ETH is doing Bitcoin cycle 2020? You mean like, do I think ETH is doing what Bitcoin did in the last cycle type of move? Yeah, I think they're kind of tracking kind of similar. Do you think the cycle tops out faster than the last? Again, I think it's talking probabilities. Do we think it's possible that we top out this year? Obviously, everything's possible, but especially with this correction now and how price action has been looking the last few years, where we've had moves up, but then also big pullbacks every 6 months to kind of make a more sustainable move up versus last cycles, right? In 2020, 2021, 2017, crypto moved a lot different. This is Bitcoin. As you can see, when Bitcoin bottomed out in 2020, it moved straight up for a whole year. Like, it made these little pullbacks here, which of course this is like a 25% pullback, but it only lasted a week, right? Versus this bull market's completely different, right? We got big moves up, but then big corrections, 6 months of correction. Big moves up, 6 months of correction. Big moves up, 6 months of correction. Big moves up, 2 months of correction. What this very likely could create is a scenario where Bitcoin no longer gets these big 80% crashes because we're getting a more sustainable move up. I think these corrections, whether people know it yet or not, actually kind of reset everything. It resets leverage, resets euphoria, resets expectations, and allows these coins to grind up higher over time. So I think it's possible that Bitcoin is completely thrown away the 4-year cycle and doesn't top this year because of the new type of buyer that's coming in with ETFs, pension funds, all this. The buyer is just way different. They're more of a long-term buyer. Now, does that mean we don't top out this year? There's no way. No, that like I said, anything's possible. But like I said, all the signs that have come before a major top, where prices are up 10 or 15, 20x, everybody's trading crypto again. Coinbase is the top app on the Apple Store. None of that shit has happened yet. In fact, it's a complete opposite. In sentiment, everybody's completely down. Like, tops don't happen when crypto Twitter, everybody's depressed. They happen when everybody's fucking euphoric, when, nobody can tell you that the bull market's gonna, top out here, right? That's when a bull market happens. All these signs are pointing to the complete opposite. So what I think could happen again too is that crypto moves up in the 2026. People are like, "Oh fuck, the 4-year cycle's over." There's a lot of FOMO. We get that euphoric run. Coins are at 15, 20x. We get a euphoric retail mania, and then later in 26, possibly in 27, that's when we get that kind of longer term bear market top, when everybody's expecting the opposite, when euphoria is high, coins are up 10 or 20x, and when things are frothy, right? I think that's a possible scenario. Or crypto just keeps fucking grinding up. Bitcoin keeps grinding up and looks more like the stock market from, the S&P 500 looked from, this is the S&P 500 from 2014 onwards, has been up only with just small brief dips in between. I think there's always going to be blow off tops and always going to be big crashes on the meme coins, the more newer frothy stuff whenever Bitcoin corrects like this. But as far as Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, a lot of these bigger majors, even some memes, I think there's a case to be made that they just keep grinding up for years. Of course, with big violent corrections in between. So, it's anybody's guess, but I think there's a lot of signs pointing to it being different in a lot of ways. What's up, Miss D? How you doing? Misfit Hunter shared the screen. Shout out to you. Bossman once said there's a huge CME gap around 94K, 98, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like I said, it's there, but me personally, I just really don't look at CME gaps too much, bro. Imagine selling 24,000 Bitcoin in one clip. I know, what a fucking... That's diabolical. So we still need to see bottom of Bitcoin as plenty in a long Fartcoin. I think just accumulating on the way down. Longs are tough. Leverage is tough. But if we're talking spot, I think just accumulating, DCAing on the way down is the move. Need more confirmation to go into leverage again, yeah. Once Sol season is in full swing, it's over for Fartcoin bears, yeah. So Ronaldo coin was a bluff to scam people. Yeah. I think people believed it too because Ronaldo's done some other stuff in crypto before. But is it okay to scalp perps as an immediate? Yeah, it's okay, but it's just dangerous if you're not experienced. Any advice for me? I'm just getting into crypto and NFTs. What's up, Anders? Shout out to you, bro. When did you get that? What is that? That's a rational rattlesnake, right? VF2? Or is that an authentic anaconda? I don't know. Either way, any advice for you is just if you're just new to crypto and NFTs in general, is first of all, just be patient. Just understand that just like anything, crypto is a skill, or trading, investing is a skill that takes time to learn. A lot of people, especially when the whole pump fund stuff, you see people like hitting it big on these big coins, and it happens. But I can't tell you how many times a lot of these people, a lot of times make it big just in like the lottery or in gambling. They make it big and give it all back because there's no continuous skills to continue to keep and flip that money. So for my advice to you simply would be give yourself time, understand, give yourself 2 to 3 years, understand that this is like a skill like anything else. You have to learn. Not only is it a skill, but it's a skill that a lot of the a lot of the most useful stuff or the most important stuff are stuff that can only be learned through experience. I'm talking being able to stomach dips and being able to ignore media fear and being able to buy dips when everybody else is scared, to be able to look past, to not get caught up in panic selling. All these different things take people can tell you about it all you want, but it takes experiencing these certain things to really like embody them and to get them down. So my advice is just, despite what anybody else tells you, focus on the skills, whether that's, with NFTs, flipping, there's certain things like that. For me, I'm just more of an investment type, buy and hold, um, all that, but just focus on learning, give yourself time, give yourself a few years. You may make a lot of money in these next few years, but give yourself a few years to get pattern recognition, get the skills down, and then whenever you get the skills and experience and pattern recognition down, you'll be able to quote unquote print like for as long as crypto's around. You'll always be able to go on to whatever the next meta is, or not even the next meta. You'll just be able to spot great opportunities to buy and hold and take profits on the way up. So yeah, what I would say to you is give yourself time, focus on the learning and networking part, and the profits and everything will come. So many people are so profit focused. Just be focused on the skills and all that. Just focus on learning. Give yourself time. Shout out to you for being here, though, bro. Appreciate you being on the stream. What about Giga? Yeah, we can go starting to get it into memes again. I've just not been overcomplicating it at all. Right now, I've not been touching really any new stuff. Just been accumulating the coins that I just have supreme. Oh fuck! I unshared my screen. The coins that I have just supreme belief in. Giga being one of them. I think once Bitcoin, ETH finish these corrections, whether it's here or a little bit down, I think Giga moves to a billion plus on this next leg up, and is probably one of the biggest sleepers right now as far as just solid meme coins. This is the biggest correction Giga has ever seen, but again, I think it comes out of this and goes to new all-time highs. Pengu, another one that we've been in. I've been in from way down here, accumulating on the way down. Up pretty nicely on Pengu myself here. Haven't taken any major profits yet. I think I'll definitely be taking about 25% of my position off as it creates a new all-time high. But I do think it goes way higher and very likely goes to 5 to 10 billion here on this next leg. I think, I don't know if you guys saw today, Pudgy's just keep dropping consistent announcements and mind share around the Pudgies. I don't know if you saw today. They dropped collectible photo cards. I don't know what this is, like photo cards are exactly, but just some kind of collectible card in the convenience stores in 7-Eleven or in Japan at 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Lawson's, Mini Stop. From what I'm reading in the comments, that these convenience stores are very massive in Japan. It's like a big staple in the culture. So that's big. And then they also got a NASCAR as well, a NASCAR car with the Pudgies on there. So there's a lot of other announcements hyped as well. You got the ETF narrative still hyped. Social currency narrative kind of just heating up. I think there's a great chance that Pengu just continues to soar here and is one of the coins that is already ran, but I think is just going to continue to show strength. I think it's just a no-brainer. Anything this under 5 billion, I think, is a good buy. And, anybody's been around, you see when these coins show momentum, like this shit could really start getting going here, even at a higher market cap. So, yeah, I'm still super bullish on Pengu over the next 6 months to a year. Jesus Christ. I think with the kinds of dips we've seen in the move up that follows after, it's safe to say we're in a very safe position. Yeah. Brent is more out here for real and it's not for himself, but the community. Shout out to you. Yeah. Look at Ton. Why do it keep falling? Everything's falling, bro. I think Ton though. Ton is just showing a lot of good stuff on the app side, like of them actually doing great stuff. I think it made a big run this year, but I think it's coiling up nicely to probably make another run with everything else in the next year. But yeah, it's down more than 50%. For an L1, that's pretty nuts. I don't have a lot of Ton. I like AVAX and a few other L1s, kind of a bit more here, but yeah, Ton. If you're a Ton believer and you really like what they're doing with the app and integrating blockchain, this is probably a good buy here. It has been consolidating for 5 months, which is a good thing for sure. They have more effect than TradFi. Yeah, even in TradFi though, like I said, they fill most of the time, but there's Nvidia gaps that haven't filled since the 80s or 90s. Whoa, brother, that's nuts, Thomas. It's a fucking nutty comment, bro. Brent, what's your best moment in crypto and saddest too? I don't know about best moment. I think there's a lot of blessings. I went over last week kind of my biggest wins, which were Trump and then GME on Sol. But a lot of good moments, a lot of ups and downs for sure. So, yeah, like I've said, I've talked about it a bit on tweets, but there's, especially at the start of my crypto career, there's like a few times I had to start over. Um, definitely a lot of ups and downs. Like this is my 8th or 9th year. It took me to like year 6 or 7 to really start to see, like year 3 or 4 to start to see really like good gains, and then at that point I had to start over, like even cut 3 or 4 years in, and it really took me to like year 6 or 7 to really like uh, see all the hard work like really start to pay off. At least in the financially wise, a lot of ups and downs for me. Like especially early on, I didn't have a lot of money in the game. Just really enjoyed the process, and so yeah, a lot of ups and downs. But stupid question: what's your first trade amount? Yeah, I don't know. I started with forex and crypto. With crypto, I was just fucking around with several $100s when I was starting in 2020, 2021. After watching you, one thing is that gain is patience and don't overdo anything. Yeah. Question, Brent: how to press sell button, especially when you brought Bitcoin at 102K and didn't sell 124. Do you advise being in VIP channel that gives signals, or just learn instead? Uh, how to press sell button? Well, it's tough for Bitcoin. For me, Bitcoin, I have a little bit of a different approach. Like my Bitcoin for me is just I'm buying and holding, accumulating more over time and not selling. But just selling in general, I think just having a profit taking strategy set up. We talked about this last week. If you go look in the Telegram channel, Boss Man Calls, if you're not already in there, links in bio. I put out all my in like longer trade ideas, posted Pengu, SPX, all of my bigger stuff. I'm really bullish on like long in-depth trade ideas pretty early on. Do live streams sometimes, giveaways, tips and tricks. If you go in there and type in ABTPP at the top, it'll go into my full profit taking strategy. But simply, man, you want to have a profit taking strategy set up ahead of time so that you can eliminate the emotions and take the human greed and emotions out of it. Essentially, the concept is you want to take partial profits on the way up. What that allows us to do is lock in gains, get risk free so that no matter what happens with the coin at that point, you're already good to go. You've already taken out your initials or a bit more out, and then allows you to keep a portion of that coin or a position in that coin in case it keeps going up. Allows you to compound while still holding some exposure. So for me, I'm more of a buy and hold guy. So about at 5x, I'll take some off, 10x, 15x, 20x, so on and so forth, at about 10 to 25% increments every time. That's kind of the best strategy I've worked for me. That's what I've seen work for a lot of other people. But the point is you have to have that profit taking strategy set up ahead of time so that you aren't at the whim of your emotions. That's why everybody is just getting wrecked in the market by every one of these little swings down is because they're let their emotions take over, not logic or experience or pattern recognition. It's all emotions. That's why the market is just so emotional, and the people blame the market makers, but just like the smart money is able to take advantage and win uh, so much is not because they're fucking 1,000 IQ or have some crazy trading bot, is because their time in the game and their ability to recognize what most people aren't, is that big corrections are times to buy and not panic and not get caught up in that type of stuff. And that's why I'm saying a lot of this stuff takes time to learn. That's why I just value a lot of these people that have been in the game for 10, 20, 30 years so much, is because they have that stuff that only experience can buy. So to answer your question, you want to have profit taking strategy set up ahead of time so that you can take the emotions out of it. Go check that out in the Telegram channel. I have like a 15-minute video that goes into my personal strategy and what I do. So, and do I advise being in VIP channel? I think with that being said, it's been, as of right now, or so far, I've been really big on putting out free content in the Telegram and on Twitter. I think there's definitely a few people out there that have the expertise and the knowledge and the track record to charge for their time. Like one of the smartest guys I know, this guy Brandon Hong, who I kind of really just discovered the last year. Really good on just a really objective, um, just look at the market. He's just a really smart guy. He wait, what was I just completely. Oh, he's one of the few guys. He actually charges like $500 a month for his group, which just sounds crazy to some, and for most people, especially a lot of these young kids or people who only have a few years in the game, or just showing you like a year of track record, that is like insane. But I think there's a few people out there like this guy Brandon, other people with track records who have expertise, like uh, who who can who can and I think deserve to charge for their work. I think there's a big argument to be made for when you charge people. The only way to really see if someone's serious and to weed out people who are just like non-serious people is by um, charging a bit of money, right? If somebody's able to put like a financial commitment towards something, you're going to know more likely they're going to be a more serious person, right? So I think there's a few people out there who justify charging for stuff. With that being said, I do think it's possible to learn everything yourself. I don't really buy into the whole thing of, oh, you can just learn the same things on YouTube, because what you're paying people like Brandon or other people who are paying for a course, I think you're paying to cut down your learning curve. That's what I try to do with these streams and on Telegram and other content that I'm building right now, is hopefully cut down the learning curve. What took me 9 years, hopefully help people learn in a few. Right. So I think that's what you pay for, is if somebody has a track record to help you avoid the bullshit and just kind of give you the good information to focus on, as well as uh, if there's any kind of coaching element or any type of community that you can build with, like or can trade with and all that. I think that's what you should pay for, is somebody that can help you steer you in the right direction. Not necessarily, I don't really like paying for trade calls or trade signals or all that. Usually that ends up being bullshit. But yeah, I think there's a few people out there, to answer your question, that have the required knowledge to charge people for their time where it makes sense. And again, that's few and far between for sure. Pang still learn the best way to go. Yeah. Pangu are so active. They 24/7. Yeah. Pangu. Bren, what are your top two projects for prediction markets? For me, the only one I've really used is a Polymarket. I know Myriad Market is big, and I know both of them are probably going to have tokens. But yeah, for me, so far, my prediction markets journey has been strictly Polymarket. Shout out to you, still tripping. What's up, Brand? Was able to catch the ETH dip with you and even called the soul bottom perfectly in the Telegram. Much love. Let's fucking go. Yeah, man. Yeah, check out the Telegram if you're not already in there. Super active on Twitter. I've been trying to be as active as I can on there, but obviously Telegram allows for Uh, the Telegram allows for in-depth, like more longer trade ideas where I can go more into what I'm seeing, tips and tricks videos, all that good stuff. So if you're not already in there, check out the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel. Obviously with my business partner and great friend Bossman as well. Check out him. We both do stuff in the the major side, meme side. Like I said, I posted Pengu, SPX, USDUC, did at least 5 to 10x's. Posted there in the channel first with full in depth uh, trade ideas, and not only just the price action, but just other fundamental reasons. I think the number one thing that people just get so fucked up by is that I don't know, 90% of people just focus strictly on what price action has done in the last few weeks, and their bias is not based on anything but that. I think the great people are able to put price action aside, and able to form biases and beliefs and convictions in coins when they're not going up in the last few months, right? So, um, yeah. Do you in any way have any idea of what crypto dev stuff to get into Solidity? There's a lot of that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff you can teach yourself on your own. I would Zilla, and again, I'm not a dev by any means. I have my good buddy Can't Stop Me Now who's helping me, my producer here. Uh he's kind of helping me on that side of things. But AI, I would utilize ChatGPT to help you learn about that kind of stuff, but as well as there's other AIs that can code stuff for you, kind of teach you how and all that good stuff. So not only is there good education online that you can kind of self teach yourself that kind of stuff if you're kind of sharp and kind of really motivated, but there's also courses in schools you can take online for coding. But I will say that's probably going to become very saturated. Um, and AI itself will kind of replace a lot of coders. But again, if you're really motivated and want to work hard, that's also a really growing space as well. Uh, why'd you quit Forex? Um, I still fuck with Forex sometimes. Like I have bigger swing positions, like a couple times a year. Sometimes I'll take a Forex position, but there's just way more going on in crypto. And Forex is leverage trading. That's essentially leverage trading. It's kind of similar to perps, right? So leverage trading is just tough. Anyway, I like to have the ability to accumulate spot without having to get liquidated or get stopped out. Like you've using leverage and having that be your main thing is a tough thing. So I really like accumulating spot crypto. Well, yeah, we got 1,000 people, 1,000 views, whatever, throughout the stream, whatever. Shout out to everybody who's still in here. If you're still fucking here learning on streams like this, watching videos, sticking around while most people are just, you know, falling asleep this summer, shout out to you. Like I say this on every stream, but the biggest progress I've made is after periods where I've just really locked in and focused on learning and putting in work and all that shit. And the next period after that usually is big in a lot of my biggest growth. So it's been a pleasure to hang out with you guys here over the last year through the good times, bad times. Going to continue to make streams. Have some cool guests lined up finally. Just been traveling a lot. It's been tough to lock some stuff in, but here locked in. Some cool guests, some what's it called, CTO leads, with some from some of like the biggest coins ever. One of them I have in mind that I'm excited to have on, and some other people from around the internet space as well. Want to make this big analysis driven, kind of talking a lot about what I'm doing, but also like having other people on and hearing their perspectives, especially as this bull market heats up. But Epic, I don't know what Epic you're talking about. Can you check Inspect? Yeah, I'll do that. You've been a big motivation to me. Yeah, shout out. No worries, bro. Appreciate it taking time to educate. I found a few scam groups I want. They have like 30K people. They keep scam. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of crazy stuff on Telegram, especially. Flipper is an amazing prediction market, and they partner with Kalshi. Okay, yeah, I've heard of Kalshi. I know Kalshi is like a non-crypto one, right? Yeah, I'll look at Apex AI. Is that how you spell it? Apex. Yeah, I can't find it, bro. Apex AI. It's probably it. Um, AI meets cancer detection. Yeah, I don't know enough about this fundamentally or anything else. Chart wise, it's pretty deep ass correction. Um, about 70-80% correction, but it could go either way. I would like to see it close above this bounce high, about 3x higher from here. If it does that, that's probably a really good confirmation that it's back and moves higher. But again, always my advice on these coins, if you have conviction in them other than the price, you think it's gonna, you already see a very strong community, people who are still rating and working for the coin despite prices being down. This is typically the time you want to be accumulating. While attention is low and price is down, those have been my biggest wins. But again, I can't tell you if this is one of those projects because I don't know too much about. I don't know anything about it. So again, that would just be my advice to you. If you believe in the stuff other than the price looks decent. Like even though this is a 90% correction, it has been consolidating for over a month here, almost a month here, like pretty much exactly a month. Which consolidations, the number one thing you want to look for any type of bottom, whether it's on the higher time frames, lower time frames, is some type of distribution or accumulation. I'm sorry, accumulation, which is AKA consolidation before it moves up. Consolidation is the biggest giveaway for some type of reversal. Um, what this essentially does too is obviously on the way down, everybody's super bearish. This allows you know allows for expectations and everything to kind of cool down, hype to cool down, and then that reversal comes when kind of everybody's kind of lulled to sleep. That's usually what happens. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know too much about the coin other than the chart. Chart looks decent. If the other things check out, then yeah. I appreciate that, Miss Hunter, Misfit Hunter. Member of Boss Man calls for over a year. Learned a lot of stuff for you. Happy to leave a strong community. Thank you, Sing. What's up, Brent? I'm Ero's partner from Cluck's Telegram channel. We were able to almost double our following on X using your advice. Wow, was that the advice on the last stream, brother? If so, that thanks, man. That means a lot. Let me know in the chat like what you've been doing. Really, that's worked for you. Um, hell yeah. Is this first cycle where institutions seriously back Solana alongside? Yeah, I think Solana's next. ETFs loading. I think a lot of the Bitcoins, we're gonna get the Solana. We're gonna get the Doge ETF. Probably might get like a Hyperliquid ETF, a Link ETF, Pengu ETF. I think it's gonna go pretty deep. I don't know if you guys have saw too the DATs, which is essentially allowing for treasuries to accumulate altcoins as well. Like there will be a Avalanche DAT. It's different than an ETF. A lot of controversy around them right now. A lot of people think they're cash grabs. A lot of people think there's going to drive a lot of attention and capital to these bigger altcoins. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Do you think DATs are a good thing for crypto? I've just been diving in just today, really before the stream, but 134 companies hold near 100 billion in crypto. 2 ETH is Sol is catching up. Yeah, so there's a lot of these DAT companies, which again are different than ETFs. I think they're essentially treasury companies, kind of similar to what Tom Lee is doing with everything else. Logged on as usual. Shout out to everybody in the comments here as well. If you guys don't know, I am doing a giveaway at the end of the stream as well for somebody in the comments of this stream post as well somebody active in the chat. So we'll do that at the end. But is this the first cycle? Yeah, I think Solana. We're going to see institutions. And I was actually watching this interview on Bankless the other day with yesterday with this guy. I forgot his name. So Eric something, and he was talking about how the institutions, most of them are not even here yet. It's very, very little institutional adoption so far, and he thinks that as price goes higher, that's going to make these institutions buy more and more. They buy stuff that are already have Lindy and that already have time in the game and all that. So these institutions are more likely to buy as price moves up. Boss man, call shout out to you, Ali. Shout out to you. You know who I am. But Forex depends on you, but crypto depends on you. Yeah. Thanks, Miss D. Large market caps and alts are good. Seriously, gambles are too stressful, and even perps are stressful. Large market caps give less stress. Exactly. Perps are great if you're really like a chart person, or I don't know. I think perps are going to give, for most people, if you're making it your sole focus and you're just getting into crypto, are going to give you the same results genuinely or generally the same results as somebody who's playing the pump fund lottery, just strictly just playing new pump fund launches. I think where the money comes in both perps and pump fund stuff is for the top people who are really experienced, or just really really experienced, or just really have the hang of it, and just really those like, in that kind of thing, it's really about outliers, right? It's similar to gambling. Like, most people lose everything. There's a few people who win a lot. Whereas I believe buying and holding with spot coins, especially if you have patience, it's more of an everybody can win type of thing, where it's more like we can all kind of win together. It's just the sacrifice is patience, right? So I think with a lot of people who are getting into perps for the first time, generally, if 9 out of 10 people, probably more, are going to get rinsed. I think the key is, if you really want to get good at the pump fund stuff, you really want to get good at the perp stuff, is you set your portfolio up in such a way in the investor bucket where it's heavily focused in ETH, Bitcoin, Sol, or at least spot coins, like the top kind of coins in each category, or at least strong coins with good time in the game, and then take a small 5, 10, whatever percent of your portfolio and use that to practice and get better at the perps and the pump fund type stuff. Give yourself a few years to learn stuff like that. There's a really high difficulty to those kind of things. It takes, if you're going to get good at all, a lot of people are just never going to be good at that type of stuff. But if you're going to get good at stuff that's so intricate, you're going to have to give yourself time. So I like setting yourself up with 80, 90% of your portfolio and the stuff that is just more surefire, that just have a higher chance of probability, and then learn the harder, more intricate stuff with a smaller part of your portfolio. And then maybe in 2 years, a year from now, you're one of the best at the pump fund stuff. You're one of the best at the perp stuff, where you can kind of make that more your focus. But I think most people make the pump fund stuff their focus. They make the perp stuff their focus, and they just get rinsed, because that kind of stuff, only the outliers win. That's just the way it is. I think if you really want to make it, you want to make 10, 15, 20 extra portfolio, buying and holding great coins that are down still, that haven't made a huge move up, or even the coins that have made a move up, give you a way better chance at making it than the other shit. So yeah. Yeah, Kalshi is a non-crypto one, but they're integrated with Flipper. Bet. Bro, and the whole hustle journey, not just crypto. Yeah. You should look at that's crazy tech. Okay, I'll check it out, bro. Bonk ETF possible? Yeah, it's possible. Am I coming to the EU soon? I actually haven't been to Europe yet. I need to go. What are your thoughts on these celebrity back coins? I think most celebrity meme coins are going to end up failing, because most people who are starting celebrity meme coins uh, like need it for a cash grab. Trump, I think, is a little bit of an exception. That's why I'm really bullish on Trump. I think their ability to drive attention to it is just better than any team in the world, with the president, being the president's meme coin. With that being said, I really like creator tokens more, where they're based on either around streaming in pump fund, or more likely coins based on social, like apps like Zora creator coins, where the coin is tied directly to the content of the creator. And that makes it more of a I like creator coins way more than celebrity meme coins. I think celebrity meme coins, for the most part, are going to be really limited and going to be mostly cash grabs, where creator coins, where again, there's a flywheel directly connected to the creator's content, where people can actually also buy and sell the creator's content as well. I think that may take a little bit of time, but has the best shot at actually seeing success long term. And I could see a lot of celebrities creating creator tokens through apps like Zora or somewhere else. Well, yes, sir. 1,100 people. Again, if you guys like, retweet, comment, give me a follow. Always appreciate it. Always helps. Bren, did you think Powell cutting rate in September? Yeah. If you look at if we look at, let's just pull it up. Poly Market, the odds for the Fed decision is 78%, 25 points. No changes at 18, which is interesting. It'll be interesting to see where this goes closer to the September decision, which is when is September decision? 16th, 17th. So, yeah, it'll. I would think it probably likely that if he doesn't cut in September, it'll be soon. But yeah, I'm surely strong that I think crypto is going to have a run either way, and that you know rate cuts and QE of any sort could definitely add fuel to the fire and kind of extend the euphoria of the bull run. They're already embracing DeFi protocols, brother. Do you think we'll see another ETF meme coin like Doge? Yeah, it's possible. I think something like Pengu probably has a really good shot. We replied to a hell of a lot of X posts. We just naturally get yes, awesome. Thank you for clarifying. Reply guying. If you guys are new in this space and you want to network, you want to connect to great people, you want to get your name out there, you're doing analysis, you're a chart guy, you're making funny content. I don't care what you're doing on X. The number one strategy that's going to get your content out there and drive more attention to your thing is reply guying or just being a reply guy. And by being a reply guy is you don't want to. The fastest way you'll get muted or like whatever is if you reply like don't be replying like say myself or somebody else replies to somebody's stuff. Don't reply to that reply on somebody else's stuff. Like don't be annoying or like crazy, but just going on people's accounts, especially people with a lot of eyes on their content, just replying with a genuinely witty, funny, genuine compliment on people's stuff. 50 to 100 of those a day. I know that sounds crazy, but 50 to 100 of those a day. Not only is that going to get your eyes on more people, if there's a lot of reciprocation, if you like other people's stuff, they're more likely to not only see your stuff, but also shoot you a like back. What that does is it just creates this like kind of flywheel or this thing of group of people that see your content and you keep juicing that up. Eventually that group gets bigger. And like DJen Drewski here says, you're just going to get your more eyes on your content, eventually more follows. So yeah, that's really the only reason I've met any of my biggest business partners. A lot of the craziest people I thought I would never meet is by one replying to people, which then open opportunities up. Like really like reply guying myself back in 23, 24 was really the biggest reason I was able to connect with people like Bossman to where we ended up growing the channel together, just a bunch of different things again through reply guying. So yeah, shout out to you, Drewski. That's what's up. I love that, man. Is this cycle we're trying? Yeah, you already asked that. What do you think about Gyat? Gyat, yeah, Gyat coin. That's a great question. I'm actually really bullish on Gyat coin. I really fuck with that guy Frankie. I think that might be one of the most sleeper coins in crypto in general. Because this guy Frankie, what the fuck is his name? That guy with the big ass. This guy right here. He has this coin Gyat coin, which he created, I think, I don't know, months ago, earlier this year. And he's actually really been putting it on. This guy, he has what on TikTok? How many followers on fucking TikTok? I don't know. Frankie LaPena. On Instagram alone, he has 2.9. I know he probably has more on TikTok, but anyway, he puts that Gyat coin into his content. He creates videos around that directly. Obviously, oh my bad, I unshared my screen. Obviously, everybody knows demand for crypto. How did that close that? Demand for crypto content in general on these bigger platforms is just really low right now. But as the crypto market heats up, somebody like him who has a ton of followers, and already has a creator coin attached to his name, I think stands to do really well. I think his coin is at, I think at a million or let's see, what is it? Is it Gyat coin? Oh, is it Gyat with two? Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, so Gyat coin right here. Wow, I need to buy more of this. 4.4 million. I'll tell you what I really like about this coin, other than bro having such a big um. Hold on one second. I apologize. So I really like about Giat coin here again is consolidation here for 4 or 5 months. And I think the creator coin meta could really take off. So stuff like where this guy already has a creator token, millions of followers. What is this? 5 or 6 months of 5 or 6 months of consolidation. He also streams on Pump Fun with what he said is like a $30,000 setup. It looks super crisp and clean, like what you see Kai Cenat and all those guys do when they do the IRL streams. He has that kind of quality content as far as like the visual goes. The guy's just a beast, and I think something like this could really do well. Could be a really nice 10, 20, 30, who knows? Something like this could go to a million, 100 million. I think if the creator coin token thing really takes off, which I think it does. Yeah, exactly. I think Trump really could stands to do well. Thoughts on Zora? I really like Zora. I don't have any thoughts on Fake Taxi, but Zora, you're hilarious, bro. No, Zora though. I think there's a flywheel there again with Zora, where as Zora becomes bigger, more creators create creator tokens on Zora. It fuels back into the Zora token, and I'm just really bullish on Zora creator tokens. Um, Go ahead and check me out on Zora if you haven't already. I'm building some stuff. I won't say too much. Building some stuff around the creator token to kind of offer free value to people, early supporters, and all that. Just doing this for fun, experimenting. I think creator tokens are going to be not only like not a lot of stigma, like not be a big deal, but it's something that's going to be massive. And I'm just having fun, just fucking around on Zora and Base recently. So definitely check me out on both Base and Zora if you haven't already. And stay tuned. I'm definitely gonna build some cool education and other stuff for early supporters and other stuff for free or very very close to it. So to answer your question though, very bullish on Zora and Base. What do you think will outperform the other Pump Fun or Bonk? I don't really have an opinion on that. I'm really bullish on Pump. I don't have a lot of Bonk, but I have a lot of Pump token that I've been accumulating on the way down, and I think that's just a no brainer. I think what Elon is doing, they've already proven that they're going to support the ecosystem, do buybacks and all that. Lots of consolidation here. Again, a month of consolidation, and then some more consolidation for a week here. I would say that either the bottom's in for Pump or it's very close. And I think it's quickly going to send back probably to all-time highs, but quickly send back to the upside for sure. That's kind of my base case, kind of what I have drawn out here. But as far as Punk versus Punk, I can't fucking speak today. Pump versus Bonk, I don't really have an opinion on either of the two. I think it's just like ETH and Sol. There's going to be so much volume and so much attention on launch pads that not only are Pump and Bonk going to do good, but probably Pump, Bonk, fucking Believe app, fucking Bags app, whatever. There's going to be enough room to go around, I think. But I really like Pump. That's kind of my personal bet as far as the tokens go. Taylor Swift getting married, and if she drops a coin, then she can run a big wedding party from rugging us. Yeah, brother. Something tells me I don't think Taylor Swift really has a problem in fucking already paying for I don't think she needs the rug coin to pay for her wedding, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Frankie LaPena. Yeah, Frankie's the man, bro. I like that guy. He's really like kept going with the creator token stuff, even before a couple months ago when nobody was talking about creator tokens. It was just a streaming token thing. He was just like, yeah, I'm going to keep going with this things no matter what. He's just really vision oriented and just seems like a really fucking great guy. I fuck with him. You helped me a lot, Bren, during that massive March, April dip. Thanks for always giving me the boost to accumulate more SOL at $100. Wow, good for you, man. Thanks, G. Yeah, shout out to you, Drewski. Could tokenize real world assets flip equities in TradFi portfolios? I think tokenization just allows for equities to be on chain, right? Oh, are you saying RWA like flip the amount of money that's in equities? I don't know. I think a lot of shit's gonna go on chain though, for sure. More, I still don't know why he do that yacht thing. It's too funny for his age. Damn, don't cook the guy, brother. He's very successful. I don't know if you've seen his page. Brother has millions of followers. He's a beast. But he's earning good, so that's the whole point. Yeah, he's doing well. I also think creator meta will come where there will be less rugs and more stability. Yeah, I think when the coin is based around the creator's content and it's more of a collecting thing where you're able to collect a lot of your favorite creator stuff, that's where it again, if you listen to what I said, I didn't say he was high snack quality content. I said the quality of like his camera and his stream setup, his backpack or whatever. I said that's like that level of uh not production, but as far as like quality of how it looks, he has the same kind of equipment as that guy. I'm not saying the content is anywhere near similar or like anything. I'm not comparing the quality of content. Are there any scenarios where Ethereum could maintain its market? Yes. So went on a little bit of a rant, but we'll go ahead and clip this. I do think ETH has a really good shot at flipping Bitcoin in the coming years, because again, for me, even before this whole treasury thing came, I think ETH, the platform with everything that's going to go on chain, RWA, collectibles, DeFi, real estate, gaming, all this different shit. I think eventually all of that creates a higher market cap for Ethereum being a platform than Bitcoin, which is just the digital gold. And again, that could take years to play out. But I think it's just really evident in ETH Bitcoin, the chart, that we very likely have bottomed out here, kind of already cracking above its channel of sorts. And I think if it closes back above 0.057, that's going to be like a final confirmation for me. But again, I'm not waiting. I've been buying a bunch of ETH Bitcoin, or a bunch of ETH even when it was down here. But I think there's a really good shot here that ETH Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, or at least goes above that 0.08 ratio. And at that point, I believe ETH would be a lot closer in Bitcoin to market cap. If we see a lot of acceleration here, maybe it happens sooner than later. But just simply, I believe long-term Ethereum, the platform, with everything that's going to be on it, decentralized finance, collectibles, RWA, luxury goods, tickets on smart contracts, everything going to be on chain. I think that makes Ethereum higher market cap 5-10 years from now versus Bitcoin. So that's kind of just been my view. I think ETH Bitcoin, especially if it closes about 50% higher, I think it's going to get real nasty, and could really see Ethereum accelerate against Bitcoin pretty heavily here. So I like ETH Bitcoin's chances. Again, it's all about impulsivity. You see how this move up here wasn't even as impulsive. It was more choppy than this one. So I don't know. We might get more of a move akin to this, where ETH ran really heavy, almost 2x, or almost 75% in 3 or 4 months. Could we see that in the next couple months where ETH makes like a 3x run against Bitcoin? It's possible. I'm holding a bag of both, though. I'm not trying to guess which one. But if really looking like ETH has a really good shot at exploding here. Do we think we're going to be getting some free live streams on Instagram? I mean, on Instagram alone, I might start streaming to Instagram as well. But thoughts on Hype and AVAX? I like Hype. I like AVAX really a lot here. Hype also looks good. I think Hype is just going to continue to be a big infrastructure part of Ethereum, or of crypto. And the fact that it's already pretty much back at all-time highs, probably just going to continue much of the same. Probably going to continue its run here. I don't have as much Hype as I would like, but I like Hype here. I really like AVAX. Been adding to that a lot over the last year. And I think what's happening with gaming, there's a good ETF narrative there. I think AVAX is set to take off in the coming months as well. So I like both of those. Both good infrastructure plays for crypto. What do you think the market makers are up to? I don't try to guess that. Why is the richest persons are buying crypto? Is that for transformation? Which option is better for leverage trading, isolated or cross? I would do isolated. Really, that way you're able to manage your risk, because cross will just add all of your assets in there, and if all of a sudden one of the coins you're in just goes heavily against the others, it could really just wipe your stuff out. With cross, it's really easy to get greedy and just add more to your margin and get liquidated. But generally, if you're using stop losses, you should be fine either way. You got to use stop losses though. The day I saw your stream in my dreams, that's nuts. Which asset class bleeds the hardest if rate cuts drag on? I wouldn't expect them to bleed. I think a lot of the equities and crypto are going to be really the biggest winners. Um, let's see here. I want to start. Let's see what's the fuck's going on the timeline. Bitcoin moving at all or nah? Moving up a bit. But yeah, guys, I mean, Bitcoin could bottom out anywhere between here and 105. It could literally stop right here. But generally, I think the fact that it's pushing up and kind of corrective in the matter here is not just pushing straight down, is again just really supporting the fact that I think this whole move is corrective and is just kind of making a final last low before exploding to the upside. So it's kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe another week or so of downside or at least chop, and then I think we head back to the upside. Looks like Sol's already going though, which is pretty nuts. Again, it'll be interesting to see if it does give us this final low here. I would not fade that. I think it's going to end up looking pretty similar to this one where we got one low, two pushes, three pushes down. So far, you got one push, two push, potential third push down in these corrective channels. Look out for a more in-depth video that I'm making right now that goes into the anatomy of the corrective channels. But essentially, these corrective channels usually have 2 to 4 lows before they push higher. And by lows, I mean here like one low, two low, three lows. They usually have these bounces in between that make these corrective type channels. What this tells us is that sell pressure is more dominant right now, but that it's drying up. These are the moves you want to accumulate into when a chart is correcting versus something where it's more straight down and impulsive, and that's what you don't want to get caught in. But essentially, lower time frame charts on Sol, ETH, Bitcoin, everything is pointing to corrective behavior, which again, I see leading in the next few weeks to more higher prices. So yeah, that's what I see playing out on Sol. But yeah, everything looks like it's getting close to finishing up its corrections. Everything could move up from here, but also don't be surprised if we chop down for a bit longer. But again, right now is the time to accumulate, not be selling, not be panicking. I think again, we're pretty much in the moment of where we were in June of 2022, or maybe early June of 2022, where you have another week or a couple days of fucking around and then move up. Or I think we're similar to where we were in April, early April, where we continue down, chop for a little bit, and then that's it. I think we're at the end stages of another corrective period, and just rinse, repeat. Right? I mean, we go up, people are hyped, we come down, everybody's panicking, rinse, repeat. It's just the ones who are winning are the people who are able to, when this chop down is happening, they're able to just say, fuck it, I'm going to have my own conviction. I'm going to believe in the stuff that I love, and that I think crypto is going to have another leg up or whatever. Those are the people who are able to time and time again dominate. And I think that's why crypto is really top heavy. There's those people that dominate and do really well, and then mostly everybody else who's just spinning their wheels or losing money. Is because most people again do that same thing. They base their whole belief on crypto on the last few weeks of price action. They can never escape that. And if you have that mentality where it's always somebody asks you if a chart looks good, if it's moving up in the last few weeks, if it's strictly based off of that, you're just going to forever be cooked. You have to be proactive, meaning you form a bias in buying during these times down. That's the only way to win. You have to be early in crypto. And the only time you can be early is by a lot of times just ignoring the bullshit and a lot of people laughing at you for buying, or not even laughing at you. We're just telling you you're stupid for buying coins. Like honestly, like this sounds like, I don't know, but every big win that I've had in the last few years has come along with the crowd kind of telling me I'm stupid, or just the crowd kind of having the opposite opinion. And I'm not here to say, oh, like, look at me, Mr. Contrarian. I'm just saying that oftentimes, like, if you're going to be really early on stuff and you're going to have big 10, 20, 30x games, most of the time it's going to come with detractors and just people really like downing the asset, a lot of FUD. Take ETH, for example. Went all the way down to 1800. Everybody who was here around whatever, not only were people saying that it's not going to go up soon, but they were calling for the death of ETH. Oh, it's never going to go back up. It's, it's forever doomed. It's AOL. It's fucking MySpace. And then that was the time where you could have bought ETH and be up 3x right now. And it's just getting started. honestly, the upside in a lot of these bets really is correlated to the amount of FUD and disbelief there is. That's why people say we're in disbelief. Like, and again, this isn't perfect. There's a lot of stupid shit you should just not believe in, where the crowd's gonna believe in it because it's not believe in it because it's stupid. But when there's a great idea or a great team or a great asset, while also price is down and FUD and disbelief and fear is high, that's usually a good sign that you're looking in the right place. So ETH, for example, like I can't even tell you how many times in Discords a lot of people are just like, "Oh, ETH's never going to go out there," just thinking all of these reasons why it's fucked, and then that was the exact time you could have been buying and having 3x gains on it so far. So ETH, Pengu, same kind of thing. Everybody in my chats and a lot of these other places were telling me, "Oh, Pengu, it's down 90%." Like, of course, it's not going to go up. A lot of people are saying, "What's the meme?" Like, what do you mean? Like, what's the meme? Despite Pudgy Penguins being one of the strongest communities in crypto, people just like to overthink these things. Pengu, GME, ETH the other months, every time that these biggest gains that I've had or the biggest wins, they've always come along with high doubt and FUD from the crowd. Same things with VFriends too. I think that's one of my biggest bets, and I think that's why it's going to be one of my biggest wins, is because of how much uncertainty and doubt and fear that it's created these crazy low prices in an asset with an operator who is well connected with every famous person you can imagine, who has a business of $300 million in revenue every month, who understands NFTs and this RWA and how everything's going to be on chain. 2021, now it's the talk of the fucking town. Essentially, like, you have the Gary V NFT down 90% before the second NFT bull run, and people are still just completely writing it off. Stuff like that. It's just, most of the biggest, greatest opportunities you're ever going to see are almost always going to come with massive fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Think about Bitcoin for fucking 5-6 years, up into a couple years ago. You're called an idiot if you're buying that shit, especially in the TradFi world. So yeah. My stocks of USDT is waiting for 106, 105K Bitcoin. Let's see what happens. Yeah. No, you're good, Flo. No worries. What are your thoughts on Nobody? I'll look at Nobody. Wow. Nobody's moving up hard. Looks good. Nice. Came out of this nice consolidation. Times are tricky. If it catches the tailwinds of the entire market ripping, then this could just continue to run. What I would say is just focus on taking partial profits on the way up. This looks really good though. Of course, if the market continues to rip, Nobody might just continue to go up. 77 million, pretty big, not big market cap, but it's getting up there. So I would just make sure to lock in some gains on the way up, but I could see this continue to rip higher if the market continues to strengthen. Block. Block looks pretty decent corrective wise. I don't know anything about this actual coin. Looks pretty corrective. A bit of consolidation for 7 days, which is usually a good sign that the bottom has been put in. Looks pretty tight. Again, don't know anything else about the actual thing. I'll tell you the same thing I told the other guy. The corrective chart behavior is there. It's nice and wound up tightly. But what's going to determine whether this shoots back to all-time highs or kind of just fucks around and dies is if there's other things other than the price, like the community still strong, whatever bull case there has for this coin other than the price. If that's intact and you really believe in that, this is the time you want to be buying. It's down about 50%. Not too bad. Yeah. So that's all I can say. Lofi looks good here. I think the top meme coin on what's it called? Sui will do well. Oh, Block is a launch pad for WLFI. Then if it's a top launch pad on World Liberty Fi, and World Liberty Fi catches a little bit of a wave, then that could definitely catch a nice wave. Yeah, again, brother, Bitcoin moving up here could move up. For me, what I'd be looking at is kind of a final confirmation is if it closes back above this prior bounce high again at like 117. Until then, it can continue to chop down. What I'm doing around this is just I'm just accumulating my good coins with the expectation that this is probably one of the final lows before we get a tipping point in ETH and meme coin. Or I'm sorry, alts and meme coins, where so far it's been Pengu, SBX, Hype, a few other coins. I think we're going to get a more broader run as the year comes to a close. So, Bitcoin could go straight up from here or it could continue down. I'm just accumulating, and when the correction's over, we'll know when it kind of moves above 115, 120 again. But yeah, let's see what's going on in the timeline. Uranus account suspended is bullish news. Damn, all these fucking accounts getting suspended is crazy.
Bulldoggers.com/rhythm. We appreciate you all. We'll be back in next week.
Did you not see Indian Aura?
Peace.
Shout out to Easy and
Going live.
saying them. That's fire.
Remove and delete from YouTube. That was an accident. Real quick, bear with us.
Like I said, go shoot Bossman a follow if you haven't already. Yo, this is nuts.
Tonight, I'm fucking hyped. Series 2 and sports cards. So sports cards, peeps, we got some nice value cards. And for all of you that don't understand, Series 2 Be Friends cards are ballistic because they've got tons of rookies and now the retired curse cards.
Let's see.
$552 and
repeat incoming. Wow. 24 hours stream. I haven't seen a crypto 24-hour stream before. Let me know. Have you guys seen a crypto 24-hour stream before? It looks like, what's his name? Leap is doing that. He wants to raise $750,000. That'd be amazing if you can do that. See if we can participate in that. That'd be cool. Oh, am I not even on the main timeline? I wasn't. Damn. Let's see. What the fuck else is going on? Wow, that's nuts. I haven't watched the video, but it looks like he said that Alex Becker did a poll on how many people left the last bull run in profit, and it came back 5%. That's what I'm saying. It's very hard to come out on top of any of these bull runs unless you are very early and not FOMO in, or you have to be taking profits on the way up. Got to have profit taking strategy set up. Go back to our last stream and watch that if you haven't already, or go to the Bossman Calls Telegram channel and search in always be taking partial profits, ABTPP, and I'll go into my exact profit taking strategy that could hopefully help you avoid being one of the 95% that don't, whatever. But again, if you're seeing this right now, 5%, that's probably scary. You're like, what the fuck is the point? But you got to realize that's why I said this is a multiple year journey. Most people in their first year, they come in mid-cycle, or even if they come in beginning of the cycle, there's so much that can happen and so much whatever is that you got to give yourself multiple years. That maybe you aren't one of the 5% in year one, but you're one of the 5% in year 2, 3, 4. It becomes a lot easier to be that 5% when you've been in the game for fucking 5, 6, 7 years. I probably didn't become part of that 5% or like whatever, even the higher, like upper on that 5% until, like I said, year 3 or 4. And then I had to start over again and then really sustainably get there until like I said, 5 or 6. Year 5 or 6, something like that. So give yourself fucking time. Hopefully with these streams and the content and for myself and other people that you can cut that learning curve down, learn from others, from their mistakes. But either way, give yourself time. Again, give yourself a year or two where you're just here to learn. If you're able to come away with money and to continuously just hit it off the bat, then you're fucking blessed. But if you make the focus learning and and the skills that you can replicate over and over again, that's the only way to like really make it, bro. To really make it other than just like a quick hit.
Going from 97% buybacks to 99% buybacks on the Hype token. They're literally increasing the amount that they're buying back. So
that's nuts. Hype is doing a 99% buyback of their token, so 99% of the fees. Trump announces that American people may receive a dividend paid via tariff. Wow. Stimulus. Oh, looks like that loan crisis of the Pudgy Penguins. I guess there was 140 Pudgy Penguins on Blur loans that were close to getting liquidated. Looks like the loan crisis was avoided, and there's only 5 loans now. So that's good for the Pudgies. Yeah, stimulus could actually, if they were to give people stimulus, that could be a nice narrative for equities and all that good shit too. I think Troll's nice. I think Troll's going to continue going. No, not necessarily, Mr. Empathic. That'd be a good sign. But as we've seen in past years, memes could also lead Bitcoin out of there as well. I just think a healthy Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin's corrective, it's just going to point to just the entire market being strong. Whether the memes lead Bitcoin or Bitcoin leads the memes, could go either way, right? So generally the answer to your question is yes, but it doesn't have to go in that order. What do you think of those crypto bros flexing supercars and trying to sell their courses? To each their own, right? I would just say to each their own. I think there's, again, like I said at the top of the show, there's certain people out there that have the expertise, the time in the game, the whatever, to sell their expertise and to charge money for their stuff, especially if there's some type of personal coaching or some type of direct connection to them where you can ask them questions. And if you can essentially pay somebody to cut your learning curve to where instead of taking 5 or 6 years of trial and error, that somebody can teach you what they've learned and do it in 1 or 2 years, I think there's people out there that'll, have the expertise to pay for this stuff. With that being said, there's a lot of people out there that I think make it from a year or two of good performance, or they completely fake it and they're just good marketers. And I think it comes down to the skills that it takes to become a good marketer and to build a Twitter account and to make good videos and great content is a different skill altogether than being an actual good trader or a teacher or any of that stuff. There's some overlap, but I would just beware. The number one thing that I would look for, and again, maybe that's just me talking, I'm 30 years old, I've been in the game for 9 years now, is that the number one thing that I look for and that I respect amongst people, again, because most of this stuff in crypto can only be taught from experience, the number one thing I look for is, has this person had multiple years in the game of trial and error and has been through the multiple ups and downs and can kind of teach me, guide me through these things. Because I mean, how can you teach somebody about cycles or about these things that if you haven't lived through it yourself, or at the very least, if you haven't spent 100 hours or 20, 30, 50 hours watching interviews from people who have lived through it? I think that's what's helped me bridge the gap from not having a big finance background or anything like that. And why I'm able to learn about this stuff is because I've spent hours and hours of watching podcasts from people who do know what the fuck they're talking about. So what do I think about people who are flexing supercars and all that? I think there's people like TJR, for example. It seems like there's people winning in his courses, and then he goes that route with the marketing side as well. I think there's people like him, and I'm not in his course. I don't know. It just seems like there is people actually winning from it. There's people who go that route, but there's also a lot of people who flash the cars and all that stuff who who don't really have it on the trading side and training side, and you're probably better off either learning yourself or training someone, paying someone, or learning from somebody who whatever. But again, it's not necessary to pay somebody, but I think there is a case to be made where if somebody can cut your learning curve and really has time in the game, could really save you a lot of time and lost money and stuff from their knowledge, and they've proven that. I think there's a case to be made where some people do deserve that. Took profits heavily this cycle building my new home for me and my wife. Shout out to you, bro. Amazing. You traveled a lot? Yeah, I traveled a lot too this year. Greed is a thing which makes me lose money trying to overcome. Let's see how soon I'll fix this. Yeah, man. You just gotta think about all the losses that you've taken, how that feels. And you just gotta do differently and just build a habit of the opposite. Yeah, 100% Rojan. It's just like the different dealing with emotions and all this stuff. You're right. It's human psychology and all that stuff is present in all of these different things in all different markets. Top 5 NFT picks to look for. I like VFriends a lot. All of the different collections. I think Pudgies are going to do really well. I really like Wonky Stonks, which is Crypto Kaleo's project. I like that in the art realm. And then I'm really bullish on meme coin NFTs. The Sproto Gremlins, the Aeons, the Fwog Pond NFT that I have as my PFP, the Little Chillers. There's only a few NFT meme coins out, but I think what's going to happen as NFTs go up and meme coins this next year, we're going to see both the NFT meme coins start to the convergence of those two things. And I think meme NFTs are going to do really well. So those are the 3 things I'm focused on in the NFT space. Most of the time, those experts got into e-com early, made millions. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of people who made it in other things, and then they kind of market themselves as somebody who's that's also another thing to be careful of. But typically, I don't think everybody who pays or charges for education is all bad. I think there's, again, a lot of people out there who charge for education to weed out the serious people. If you just give out everything for free and your goal really is to make an impact and to get your education out there and all that, somebody who pays for it is more likely to be serious and take it seriously if they have a financial investment. Followed on Insta, you have less there and less active. Hope you go there. Yeah. No, I definitely have more content coming, more oriented to Instagram here soon. It's been strictly clips for now, but got some stuff cooking for Instagram. Do you think 22 years old should go full-time trading or look for other stuff? I would just never rush into having to be full-time trading, right? Like, especially if part of the money that you have in the market is like you need to pay bills, never do that. Like, if you need to make $500 this month to pay rent and you're thinking you're going to make that with trading, that's never a good position to be in. Like, you want to be having a job and do all that stuff and use trading as the rest of your time until you're at a point where you have multiple years or like a lot of expenses already saved up. You never want to make trading your thing where you need it to survive, or else you're going to make shitty decisions. I'm going to get some water real quick. Hold up. So somebody asked thoughts on FNFs. There's a lot of cool groups, I'm sure, out there. As far as the ones that are trying to like charge other people to get in, and especially if they're based on, you got to understand, if you're in a big group that's based around trading low ultra cap coins, it's just going to be problematic at times. You just got to expect that there's a lot of people who are going to be able to snipe these coins and have bots and all that. But again, it's just like an outlier game. I feel like there's people like Cup C and a lot of these guys who are able to kill it, whether it's because they're really skilled or because they have copy traders. I think there's a lot of both of that with a lot of these guys. But again, it's very outlier oriented. There's very few people at the top who make a lot of money and it's winner take all. And then a lot of people who lose everything. It's like there's people who are like the all-stars, like beasts, like people they look up to. And then everybody else tends to have And this is just my view. I mean, tell me if you disagree with me in the chat, but like that's just my view. That's what I've seen. It's like most of the people that I know just focus on pump fund lottery, the pop fund lottery, or the just strictly yeeting a bunch of money at these new launches. They tend to have the same results, at least over a 3-month period, as somebody who I've seen as like a sports gambler. And that's not me shitting on it. It's just like that's how I see it. And again, that's not to say that you can't become one of those guys that is like a fucking beast and all these guys look up to. That could definitely be you. And if that's what you want to become, dude, that's like fucking go for it. But I would say just make sure that you have most of your portfolio set up in the stuff that is going to give you a shot to win, and then take a few years or a year or 6 months to work to become that beast. But if you just make the pump fund thing your main thing, and you're most likely to just continue to spin your wheels until you figure it out. Yeah, I'm becoming a 3D animator in 3 months, and I'll be joining my job and train. Fucking shout out to you, bro. What do you make? Fucking cartoons? What is it? More like CGI or not CGI? Fucking whatever. The more animated, like Pixar type stuff. Like, what do you do? Yeah, no, 100%, bro. Most people who, especially like that I know, I really like getting on streams like this, and like it's really fulfilling to me to like do the Telegram shit and like all that. I really love it. But there's a lot of people out there, they're already making millions of dollars. Why would they, a lot of people who like, why would they continue to, why would they need the money? Yeah. But let's see. What else is going on? New MetaMask social login, so you can log in through your email. That's pretty nuts. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, my producer just informed me that I think potentially that all the different wallets are going to have to do that. But yeah, somebody set it up here. I think it's Kiki or Kicks, whatever Kiki charts, Kick charts. He said calm before the storm. That's mostly what I see it as too. Whether we bottom out here, we go a little bit lower. I think zooming out like a month, 2 months from now, we're going to be a lot higher. And I think these streams and just in general times will be a lot more exciting during those times. But it's again, the people who like get fucking their hands dirty right now, just still here in the fucking trenches during these times are the people like really who I've seen see success. Very few people who just fair weather and just like, here when everything's good and hop back in and buy and FOMO. Very few people make it that way. You got to be involved during these shitty times. President of the U.S. says the traditional finance system is broken in crypto.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after many Americans?
The president of the United States just said that he's going to revamp the entire fucking financial system on crypto rails, and people are fucking crying over a 10% Bitcoin dip. Like, you got to realize you got to put this shit into fucking perspective. Like, zoom out. Like, whether again, even if this were to create a 6-month bear market, which it's not, you're fucking weird. Like, gotta understand. Like, we're just getting started. And when everybody says just getting started, I don't mean the fucking bull market started yesterday. It's just that phrase, like, just getting started. Like, we're really about to see the strongest part of the bull run. I think it's just like, how could you, especially with a lot of these meme prices already down 80 or 90%, I don't see how anybody's anything but optimistic right now. But To each their own. I'm sensing euphoria in the Pokemon TCG markets. No narrative plays out twice, but this is truly the RWA NFT cycle. Content around Pox, polls, etc., just like the COVID days, 7-figure sales. Yeah, from what I'm seeing though, from like Gary Vee and other people who are kind of been around the card game for a while, it looks like a lot of this movement in the cards, even though it's strong, it seems to be more sustainable and not as much speculation or gambling. But maybe that's not there yet. Damn, Son Chan doing well. Damn, that's nuts. Oh, another thing I saw the other day too is that maybe I have it in the bookmarks. I think institutional investors last year it was like 50% of people who had exposure to Bitcoin. Now it's like 80%. So there's a big jump that's happening. I wish I would have had the actual tweet, but yeah, guys, I'll hang out for another 10, 15 minutes. Again, calm before the storm. Not much going on, but I would just implore you not to fucking fall asleep. Stay invested, stay involved. Trenches so bad. My group trenches so bad. My group chat shield me Caucasaurus. Damn, that's how you know you're down bad.
In 30 seconds. My name is Frankie LaPena. I have 23 million followers on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. I post videos that average hundreds of millions of views per month on these apps. Advertisers pay me to run their ads before and after these videos. Every month I take half of this monetization money and I put it into the GYAT chart. I then lock these tokens, raising the floor and giving me more supply control. So if you do the math based on last month's number, which was $7,431, that is $89,000 going into the chart over the next year. This is the GYAT coin.
So not only does he have massive mind share on his social accounts, he's also doing buybacks. Honestly, I'm really bullish on fucking GYAT. I don't know about you guys. There's very few coins that I like see that I'm bullish on, and when I tend to be bullish on coins, I like to highlight them in the Telegram channel usually. So do with that what you fucking will, but yeah, maybe getting some exclusive here for however many people are on the stream right now. But I really like fucking GYAT coin here. It's looking that's not how you spell it. Again, it just kind of checks all the boxes for me. It's kind of moving up nicely here. Checks all the boxes for me. Again, I think creator tokens as a genre are going to go up. This guy Frankie has millions and millions of eyes on his stuff. If and when crypto kind of blows up on TikTok and Instagram again or becomes popular, I think this guy's coin, with the buybacks especially, are kind of in a great place. The consolidation for 4 or 5 months. Fuck, I'm not sharing the screen. God damn it. But again, just so I can, now that I'm on the screen, I think it just checks all the boxes with the buybacks, consolidation on the chart. With the creator coins, I think gonna make a come up. With crypto, I think eventually having a mania among, the normie retail type, which again lives on TikTok and Instagram. I think this guy's coin, all of those things in together, market conditions, creator coins going up, his flywheel with the buying back, I think actually has a really good shot at going to 10, 20, 30, 50 million. Maybe even higher if this creator coin meta goes up. But I think it's really bullish to see good charts like this on these coins that have been distributing or accumulating, for 4 or 5 months. So I don't know. I have a little bit of this coin, but I think I'm going to take a bigger position on it. Whatever. I'm extremely bullish on this. Probably a good opportunity to get into the creator coin kind of meta at a good price. Another one I'm looking at probably is like Rasmer. Again, I think this creator coin thing is just so fucking new. Rasmer up Rasmer's actually kind of down. From what I understand, Rasmer has 80% of his supply locked up as well. You know, he has a lot of attention and eyes on him, not as much as Frankie LePena, obviously. But obviously a lot of the people who have more who are more likely to buy crypto creator coins might, you know, obviously Rasmer, whatever, they know him more than whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm bullish on creator tokens. I think stuff like the existing ones like Rasmer and obviously Giat are big. You know, I'm sure some of the hype house ones like, but I'm also really bullish in where I'm going to put most of my capital and what I have most of my capital so far in is in the Zora creator tokens, because I think this pump fund streaming ones, the top streamers, their coins could potentially do really well. But the Zora tokens allow for any type of creator, whether you're a musician, a photographer, a comedian, whatever the fuck you do, you can put your content on Zora and Base and monetize or tokenize it and you know, have a creator token. I think that has more of a wider market reach or whatever it's called, a more, you know, applicable, more people, you know, it touches a more wide base. But I'm just bullish on creator tokens in general. So I think great creator tokens are going to go up. I think right now we're pretty limited. I think there's good stuff like Giat, like I was saying there, Rasmer, on Zora. I really like tokens. Like, let's go on Zora real quick and just fuck around on there real quick. If you guys haven't already, shoot me a follow on Zora at Brent Trades. But just for those of you guys who haven't fucked around on Zora before, I'm sharing it. For those of you who haven't, here's my page at Brent Trades with 1S. For those of you who haven't seen Zora before, essentially it's the base app is actually uses Zora, which is like the tokenization part of it, where essentially every piece of content, for example, this picture right here, or this picture here, or this video somebody puts out, or whatever, is made into a token. And people can essentially buy, sell, whatever, collect, essentially is what I like to think of it, or kind of what Base is marking it as, is collecting a piece of your favorite creator's content. So essentially you could buy every one of these posts and all that, right? And allows people to collect and buy this content, speculate on people's content. Obviously, tokens in general allow you to get upside in people's career early, but imagine you bought somebody's first piece on Zora, their first picture or whatever, and that creator gets huge. Obviously, that'd probably be worth a lot. Or you can it's just about collecting in general. And every time somebody collects or buys any piece of your content, it flows back into your creator token as well. And people can also buy your creator token. This allows people to support their favorite creators as well as speculate on the upside of if they're going to grow or not. So yeah, I think creator tokens that are more based around people's actual content, where there's a flywheel from when people buy your token, it goes back in, buys your content, it goes back into your token. And then it even goes even deeper. When people buy your token, it goes back into Zora, the coin as well. So it's a deep flywheel, but it's something that I'm really bullish on. And if we go to, where is it? Oh yeah. So if we go to top creators on here right now, Bology is number one, which for those of you guys know, Bology is big account on Twitter, very smart guy, big in the crypto space, can really as OG as it comes when it comes to crypto. 1 million follower account. He's kind of the top one on Zora right now with 13 million. You got Visualize Value, which is actually Jack Butcher. We got Bology. This is not Zach XBT, actually. I thought it was, but it's some other guy. This guy, Jacob, Visualize Value, which is Jack Butcher. Fake Taxi, which some of you guys might know what that is. I won't go into that. But Shalom's Doodles has one, which is only at 1 million. The one that, as far as like guys, the one that I would, besides Bology, obviously is probably a pretty surefire bet, but I really like Koopa Troopa. For these guys don't know Coop on Twitter, really smart guy, has probably kind of single-handedly pioneered the whole music NFT thing, which obviously just the technology wasn't ready for that, but kind of going towards song coins now, or essentially kind of going the coin model, which I think music NFTs are kind of the future. In the same way people are going to be able to support their favorite creator through tokens, I think offering creators or especially musicians kind of raising money instead from a record label directly through their fans, giving them an NFT, kind of them having upside in their future career, having perks, maybe like concert shit, or maybe even potential royalties attached to that. I kind of think is the future. But either way, this guy Cooper is kind of pioneered that. Really smart guy, really somebody I've connected with recently, just briefly. Fucking love this guy. Just for example, he's at 1 million. I think Zora is going to grow, and I think his account super undervalued. I think he's really doing good stuff in the whole music space and crypto. If I think he's going to, go up in value, you can buy a piece of his coin or just to support him, right? So, yeah, I'm really bullish on him. And there's, again, not too many well-known bigger names. A lot of people are fading these creator tokens because of they've seen, rightfully so, they've seen the friend techs of the past, right? Which was a big pump and dump type of thing, like here today, gone tomorrow type of thing. But I think with what Base is doing in Zora and kind of tokenization being a lot further along than a few years ago, I think this one has a good shot at actually catching on in the mainstream. So yeah, there's not too much going on. Not too many creators yet well known, but I think creator tokens I'm just bullish on. I think we're really fucking early on that. But yeah, East looking nice. We'll see if everything's bottomed out here, if it's we're gonna run. I think you can get more followers just by uploading GM and GD. Yeah, you definitely can, but I think the more high quality followers is like actually building a real following based on people wanting to see your content and actual genuine connections versus just like a follow for follow type of shit. What I've learned is that 40x trade wins come after multiple losses. Absolutely. You get a lot of fake bots and accounts doing that. Not a good following. Yeah, but you got to understand, like, as a reply guy, I'm not talking about being like a traditional what most people do when they're just spamming emojis and just doing that. You got to be smart and engaging with people, one, that you want to network with, and two, you got to be genuine with your comments, or else one, it's gonna look not genuine. You're just gonna get a bunch of bots and you're not gonna build any genuine connections. You got to think of it as if you're really like seeing that person in the fucking street, or you want to treat them like on a one-on-one basis. Be genuine, be like a real person, because you're right, there isn't a lot of actual bots fucking reply guying right now, and those guys that have 100 of those in the comments, it's really hard to differentiate yourself if you're not being genuine. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing it the wrong way, yeah, you're going to get a lot of bots. But I think if you're being genuine, you're setting yourself apart from all the bots in their comments. It's still going to work just as well, at least for me. Yeah, no, but the thing is, Embermain, like, at least the way I see it, I think you should do your charts and everything. That's the only way to build like a real following is, again, sorry, just got a call, but is by posting your stuff. But the best way, just like the best way to build on Instagram or TikTok or whatever another way might be, is through Twitter. Best way to kind of juice the algorithm in a good way and to get your stuff out there is by reply guying. Because again, when you reply to other people's stuff, your content's more likely to pop up on their stuff. And when you guys kind of get this genuine or this reciprocal, like, you reply on each other's stuff quite frequently. That's why another thing is you want to build lists on Twitter as well, where you have a list of all these other people who have replied on your stuff. So therefore you can continue to reply on their stuff. And it kind of, it builds, maybe you have 2 or 3 people at first, that's your content. But by doing this reply guy stuff, you build 30, 40, 50, 100 people that are continuously seeing your content and you guys are engaging with each other. And then that's really what I've seen, at least for me, to really get the ball rolling in the past and to really get stuff going for me. So I think, yeah, you have to have content that people love and people who they want to enjoy it. That's why you can't just do that GMG whatever shit with like a fucking infographic. I I think the reply guy stuff, it's not like, oh, you want to post charts or be a reply guy. It's just you want to post your charts, and then replying is just the best way to juice the algo, I think, in a good way. How do you keep your head cool when market is dumping? Number one thing is, dude, I've been in this game for 9 years. It was not easy the first time. Like, seriously, like, was not easy. It took years to like really become numb to this shit. And who knows, is that a good thing? Is it good that I'm fucking numb to this shit? I don't know, but fucking yeah, no, like, all jokes aside, I think you just giving yourself time and understanding it takes years, to just like anything, to build like a pattern recognition or to get used to anything. But then also at the same time, just even looking past the last few months, every time we've seen these corrections, what happens every other time this happens is we eventually bottom out, usually when fear is at its peak, and we keep moving higher. And again, you just got to look at the other stuff other than price. You got to look at what's going on with the United States, the biggest fucking superpower in the world, says they want to make crypto America the crypto capital of the world. And they want to allow the industry to get out of the industry's way so that they could thrive. Like, do you understand? Like, maybe that doesn't happen right now, but what that's going to allow for the next 3, 6, 9 months, 2 years, where creators for the first time, whether that be a musician or whatever, is going to be able to use a token or NFTs for the first time, without worrying about getting in trouble. Right? The only people who have really done this stuff so far are the people who are pioneers and who have taken the chance when it's so gray area. But now, like, a lot of the biggest people in the world, entertainers, all this stuff, will be able to implement crypto. If you just look at all that stuff in the background, you just got to focus on that and just understand that the price moves are temporary, and this is nothing that we haven't seen fucking 3 times this year, bro. Don't hate me. Sometimes I think Trump thinks from his toe. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm not some Trump fanboy. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Trump and what they've done, the administration for crypto, is obviously extremely bullish, and I love how they made the main focus that the regulation is essentially just allowing the industry to thrive and getting out of the industry's way, and just setting up a clear guidelines and framework. But I'm not like some Trump fanboy by any means. Like, I'm not going to glaze him for whatever. I don't really do the left right thing. Like I just pretty in the middle. I like to take, obviously just take the good from everybody, but trust me, I'm not some Trump fanboy. Perceived value, bro. People often associate higher prices with higher quality. If a course is $50, it feels like a hobby. If yeah, that too. It's a good point. The USA government, I know I'm behind on everybody's chat, but the USA government is weird for crypto, seems like, for me. Once they put out bullish behavior, then a neutral one. Yeah, and a lot of stuff is taken out of context. It's like really nuanced conversations that people aren't able to understand. Like, but yeah, no, there's definitely up and downs. Some people think, you could think that's orchestrated to kind of create certain results sometimes. But you're right. Yeah, sometimes I feel regret for buying early. Yeah, if it's painful and you're buying early, that's usually a good sign too. Usually when it's like less painful and everything feels certain, that's usually when you're closer to the top than the bottom. He shared content money to a meme coin. Daddy Design, what's up, brother? Need NFTs to go up. Yeah, we haven't really talked about that before too. Obviously, or today too yet. Talked a bit about how VFriends is obviously, and we're seeing a lot of a repricing. I was talking to my producer, my buddy, Can't Stop Me Now, before this. That the VF1, for example, which is the top VFriends collection, right? It's at 1.15 ETH. The floor has gone down in ETH, but it's actually around the same price as it was like a month or two ago when ETH was way lower. So we're seeing a repricing in ETH as of right now. I think right now what everybody's kind of assuming is that's going to continue to happen. Crypto's going to rip, ETH's going to rip, meaning all NFT projects may actually go up in USD, but they're going to go down in ETH. I think that's the biggest assumption that people are kind of getting wrong, and they're just expecting I just think that's the biggest expectation right now. They're just going to assume everything's going to go down. But I think that could be the max pain, or like kind of the biggest shocker is that I think, again, regulatory clarity, a lot of signs bubbling up in each of these projects, the bigger IPs really making big developments like VFriends with the Tops Chrome, Pudgy Penguins, obviously everything they're doing, Azuki, stuff like that. All the signs across the board are pointing to not just a crypto bull run, but what I believe will be a resurgence for NFTs, where I think a lot of these NFTs, the ones that have survived, the 1 or 2% or less that have survived, are going to have a resurgence similar to the internet stocks that came out of the .com bubble. Gary Vee always put that even back in 2021. And that always like resonated with me. And I think that's what we're seeing play out. And I think we're, in 2004, I think he said that, I think that's 2004 is when all this internet stocks, which again, everybody called back in that, I guess in that period where in 2001, where the internet bubble popped, a lot of people thought the internet was done. Like they said, oh, the fucking internet's just a fad. This was just a bubble. The internet itself, like I'm talking about fucking the internet, not the stocks, like the internet. And then by 2004, not only was the internet itself, like everybody's fucking using it, but the internet stocks that survived went back. I think that's what we're seeing right now in the NFTs. And that's why I think it's just creating these amazing opportunities. And my point in saying this is I think that's what a lot of people aren't understanding, or what they're going to really be the biggest shocker is when they see that, just like 2021, that I think in 2025, 2026, we're going to see not only ETH go up in USD, but great NFTs, not all of them. Great NFTs are also going to go up in ETH while ETH goes up in USD. Part of that reason is I think there's going to be a huge mania around NFTs, obviously. But in the IP side, I think some of these companies, again, the VFriends, Pudgy Penguins, the few great ones, because of digital collectibles in general, having such a wave. Obviously, we call Kevin O'Leary by $13 million card yesterday. And then crypto collectibles plus crypto coming together, crypto collectibles, which are NFTs. I think over the next few years, the top ones, not only are the prices going to go up in floor prices, but because of digital assets and collectibles being so big, that some of them are going to become some of the biggest companies in the world. Like some of the off the back of those two things kind of converging. And what I think that's going to create is something like VFriends, not only at 1 ETH, or not only going up, not only ETH going up in USD, but something like VFriends, I think could go from 1 to 10 to 20 ETH back to all-time highs eventually. Again, this could take a few years. And what that would mean for people who are buying these right now at 5K, not only would that be a 10, 20x in ETH, but I think also ETH goes up 5, 10x in that process. And I know that sounds nuts, but again, I think that's going to be because VFriends is going to be something so massive in the mainstream, I believe, that it's going to, and a lot of that could come with equity and a lot of stuff that we don't understand yet with NFTs. Right now, they're collectibles, but tomorrow they could offer some type of equity. Who knows? We don't know. I think all this stuff's going to happen. Eventually, these NFTs like VFriends, Pudgies, Apes are able to maintain these floor prices in the hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars because they're the rookie cards or like the real collections of like these huge brands. And I know that sounds, we might be a little far off, a couple years off from that, but that's kind of how I see it. And I think either way, next year, I think NFTs are going to go up in ETH while ETH goes up in USD. So I think some of these NFTs are just legendary, like fucking generational buys right now. Looking back, I think that's what it's going to be. Yeah, I like Yacht here too. Fake taxi still a thing? I don't know, brother. I wouldn't know. You tell me. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. I assume so if they're making a creator token. Makes sense, but still teaching it for free is a way of giving back to the community. It feels more conviction. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Again, some of the people that I've learned the most from that I can just tell you real quick, like obviously Kaleo, always like give a shout out to. I learned a lot from him in chart realm and just overall conviction and just a bunch of shit. Great guy. Bankless, as far as like just overall content, I like the Bankless guys, but just over the years they've continuously had the smartest people on in the space. This is where I've learned the most, is from these long interviews. So I think they're great. You have Alex Becker. I've learned a lot from him. just in general. I think somebody who's super polarizing, but somebody who I think is incredibly smart and just something I've learned a lot from. You got LEO trades as well. Same kind of thing. Somebody who I learned from early on and someone I still fuck with a lot. And I mean, you have this guy, Gareth Soloway, who's more in the traditional finance side, but I've learned a lot from him over the time. I think you can learn a lot from a lot of different people and a lot of different sides. Those are a few people I've learned a lot from. Obviously, Thread Guy in the same kind of way that I think Bankless. The reason I love Bankless is because they continuously have the smartest and most interesting people on in the space, which I've soaked up so much info from. Thread Guy's kind of doing the same thing. A lot of it kind of geared towards more on-chain soul stuff. So, I mean, if that's your realm, this really would kind of speak to you, I think, a lot of these interviews. But I really like what he's doing with, having so many of these smart people on. I think he's interesting and an entertaining person as well. Good, cool guy. I think watching a lot of his interviews, there's a lot of, good stuff coming out of that right now. You know, like I said, Gary Vaynerchuk, I just, overall, not even on the crypto side, I've just learned an incredible amount from, like I said, Kaleo. Oh, what else? DC Investor, I think is great. Yeah, there's a lot of good people out there. You can learn from a lot of people. There's just a few names who I've learned a ton from. I think Easy, I just recently kind of started seeing his stuff. He's one of the good ones who continuously provides a lot of value. So thanks for the Instagram follow. I have somebody help me with the edits. Again, a lot of those for the clips, it's just straight across, like just trying to get the clip out there. When I have a face cam and there's more like visual stuff, it'll be a whole different thing. But talk of numb, jokes apart, I don't have emos no more. Y'all save me. You don't have emotions anymore? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, we do, Misfit, but they sprout out every day in the Telegram. There's like 10 of them that'll automatically sprout out. So we can only raise awareness. Do I trust staking rewards long term? If it's on chain, yeah. If you mean on like a meme coin, yeah, it's different. Final question asked for today. What advice you got for someone going to NFTs? NFTs is a different game. You got to understand for crypto. I think unless the market is super hot, like there's times where market's super fucking hot. Back in 2021, where if you were a flipper, you could make a lot of money, right? Like this guy Cyrus, a lot of you guys know him. He's another great guy, especially with the NFT world. He's just hilarious too. But somebody like him was making, he still does great, but peak NFT time, he was just printing, on just flipping apes and stuff like that. There's definitely money to be made when there's conditions like that for it. But just like that's not like my style, or at least it wasn't in 2021 at all. I'm more of like to take as much as I can, like the investor approach. I'm more buying and holding, accumulating stuff during corrections or in bear markets, for more of at least a couple months to a couple year time frame. So that's kind of how I'm playing NFTs. I think I'm collecting. I made this tweet yesterday, talking about how I think NFTs are kind of the next, how collectibles are so big right now. You got Kevin O'Leary buying a $13 million sports card, which is a record for the biggest sports card buy. I think collecting in general in popular culture is only going to continue to get bigger. And NFTs are actually the next evolution of collectibles, because not only the world's becoming more digital, but what NFTs that allow that cards do not is programmable utility, where essentially the founder of the NFT, you could have that NFT, and then 2 years from now, they can look at the smart contract and send you a reward to this, or a coin, or whatever the fuck they want to reward potential holders, which if you buy a sports card, that doesn't happen, right? So as the world becomes more digital, I think digital collectibles, NFTs, become the next next evolution of collectibles, which are already so massive. So for me, what I'm doing is accumulating projects right now during this bear market, whether it ends next week, next month, we're in it for another year. I've been accumulating a lot of these projects since last November, really October. So it's been a year-long thing for me. I'm just collecting stuff that has good operators, like the IPs, like where they're trying to build like a whole thing around these characters and stuff, which is Pudgy Penguins, Azuki, V-Friends, obviously. Betting heavily on stuff that has great operators with IPs that I actually like fuck with and think that people are going to want to actually collect. Some art stuff, and then meme coin kind of NFTs. That's kind of how I'm playing it. I'm just accumulating stuff that I think right now is in a good place to not only rise in value in this next mania, but for the most part, rise in value over the next few years as these IPs, pieces of art, stuff gain prominence. So yeah, I'm taking more of the investor approach. For Loco is not here. He's I think he's traveling. Finna take notes. You're gonna going kind of fast. Yeah, I know. I know. I apologize. I'm trying to get through a lot. After being in crypto for 1 year, it's actually similar to gambling. And that's why men love trades. Yeah, the lower cap stuff is definitely, it's like more of a social, like the pump fund stuff, and that's why I think it's going to be very successful. Like, it's because it's more of a social way of people to, like, instead of sports betting, it's more of a way, like a social way for people to gamble. Can you check SPY pre-sale, please? Looks very sketchy. You mean is there a coin called SPY? Comment on the poster in here, and I'll check it. Do you think an airdrop saves the trenches? I think what will save the trenches is crypto is going to, like, Bitcoin and all that's going to go up. ETH and stuff are going to continue to go up, and eventually the higher cap memes are going to go up, and then eventually that's going to flow down into the lower cap stuff. There doesn't have to be one singular event. But yeah, I'm gonna get off here in a few minutes. Shout out to K Money as well. He's another great person to follow. Started kind of on the content and kind of comedian side, but he's become just a great voice in the space in general. He works heavily with Mog, obviously, but just a good person in the space in general. Steve will do it. Turned 27 today, sending someone 2.7k Bitcoin. It's nuts. See, is everything moving up a little bit? Again, we're not out of the woods yet. I would say, again, this move down, apart from it just being in a bigger corrective channel in general, which to me is just corrective, but the fact that this most recent move down from August 14th has multiple bounces in it means that, again, this is corrective to me. This means that this move could come down a little bit more, but sell pressure is drying up, and eventually buy pressure is going to take over with this next impulse up. So actually, this first original video that we made, or this post right here, it's kind of actually what's playing out exactly. Where I thought we might have gotten a bounce and then come down right down here, and that's playing out kind of exactly. We've gone a little bit lower, but even then, we're at about 109 perfectly. So yeah, if we were to go up right there, that would have been pretty spot on to our original markup here. Because again, I saw from down here that this move was going to be likely the final low in a overall bigger correction. So meaning that we likely were going to get some kind of bounce in the middle of this move, and that's exactly what happened. So I think the move, again, is coming to its end. We could get a little bit lower, but we're closer to the bottom than the top. I think this is exactly what's going to happen in the coming weeks. So just stay patient. That's all I can That's all I can say. Why men love gambling, I don't know what. Yeah, I think especially now it's just the chance to like make a lot of money really quickly and changing people's situation. The ability to change your life, like, in one spin of the fucking in one trade or in one gamble. Life itself is a gamble. Yeah, everything is risk. Takes risk for sure. Like Max, our friend Max, on the stream a couple months ago, he said there's a sacrifice for everything, right? The sacrifice for buying and holding coins is patience. The sacrifice for making money in pump fund is just like you're sacrificing the very, very high chance that you're just going to lose everything. Of course, there's really, really high upside, but the sacrifice is you're also at the very high risk, probably more of a chance, especially with how the game's kind of rigged in the pump fund trenches. You also, the sacrifices, you just have a very high risk of losing everything. So to me, the sacrifice of patience and having to wait and the excruciating fucking corrections that these happen at times, I'd rather take that sacrifice than the sacrifice of having a 75% chance that I lose my everything. But yeah, brother, it's been fun. I know it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. This might be the longest time I've ever been on, but I just want to hang out with you guys and just chop it up. Usually we have like more segments but again, all that's happened in the last few days is just Bitcoin coming down. That's usually what happens is just when price comes down, that's just the dominant narrative. But as prices start to move up here, especially with everything going on with the ETH stuff and the treasuries, I think we're going to start to see a lot of positive announcements. Whereas a few months ago, there was a lot of negative announcements kind of just dominating. I think we're going to start to see a lot of positive announcements to the upside. There'll be a lot more to talk about and debate. But either way, I just wanted to be here with you guys either way. Just stay consistent with these streams. Continue to go twice a week. Gonna up it as time goes on. Really want to do a Twitter space so I can hear a lot of your guys' voices and get direct questions, chop it up with everybody live. I think in the meantime, we keep saying we're gonna do this, but I keep forgetting. Definitely should get possibly a link that we can get where you guys can come up and ask questions. Try it a few times as long as people don't go crazy. Can hopefully get a few people questions or maybe some pre-recorded questions. How about this? If you're still on the stream, I don't know how many people are still on here 2.5 hours in, but if you are, shout out to you, by the way. If you guys could please like, comment, retweet, bookmark the stream, shoot me a follow, follow Bossman Call's Telegram channel. Always appreciated. But fuck, what was I going to say? I just completely blanked out. I'm so burnt. Oh yeah. If you, wait, what was I saying? Sorry. Oh yeah. If you guys have a kind of a deeper comment question that you didn't go on the stream, maybe it's longer, maybe it's something you want to send to me personally. I'm gonna start to do a thing whether it's when it's gonna be through video soon when I have the face cam and everything, but at least for now, or I'm gonna maybe at least post on Twitter, TikTok, whatever, answering people's questions. So if you have any more questions, deeper question, whatever, like a longer question, something you didn't have answered, whatever, you can shoot me a DM and then I'll even tag you if you want to, and you can be featured in whatever piece of content. Your name could be on there as well. But yeah, I'm going to start answering people's questions kind of in a video format. I think that could help a lot of people and would be fun to do. So let me know if you guys have any questions. DM it to me. Question and spaces. Go get some sleep. Brother, it's 2 p.m. here. I'm fucking wide awake. Holy fuck. Just spilled a little bit of water. That's not good. Oh. Okay, I think we're good. Hope so. I've had before where I got a fucking question. Nah, I'll text you on Instagram or Telegram. What's up, Wonka? Yeah, if it was coffee, that would have been crazy. But yeah, I'll go ahead and be back on Friday at 10:30 a.m. PST. What's your entries on your longs? Like I was telling earlier on the stream, if you want to go back and watch the section I was talking about ETH, probably in the first hour of the stream, I believe. But I have a long entry on ETH with an average entry of around 24 something, and that's after adding on the way up. Start adding kind of heavily on the way down here. Got in but yeah, got in. Well, I have like an average of a long entry of down here around 24, 25. Started building on the way down here, and then added really heavily after this first correction. So yeah, I have a long position around 24, 2500, taking a bit of profits on the way up here, but then adding on these obvious corrections. So yeah, that's my ETH position's way lower than it is now. What's up, Dangy? What's up, Noel? Appreciate you guys. See you on Friday. Days going by fast this year. It's going, yeah, when there's not a lot going on. I don't know. It seems like it goes fast when there is going a lot going on too, but I don't know. Yeah, I appreciate you guys wherever you're at in the world, whether it's day or night, wherever you're at. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Afternoon, whether you're in school, at home, wherever the fuck you're at. I really appreciate you hanging out with me here. Again, Tuesdays, Fridays, 10:30 a.m. Gonna probably add in a Twitter space. But follow the Boss Mind College Telegram channel, like, comment, retweet, bookmark, always appreciated. And I will see you guys on Friday. Could we see an ETH at 10K in 2026? Yes. In 2026, absolutely. No haircut? No, not today, brother. Not today. All right, Misfit Hunter. How about, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Zilla, Wonka, shout out to Newell. Shout out to, I think I was freezing up there. I don't know. Hopefully you're still here, guys. But shout out to Meta. Shout out to Newell. Shout out to who I am. Sing. Shout out to Dangy. Shout out to Oko. Love you guys. I'll see you guys on Friday, 10:30 a.m. PST. Be safe.